Можу пробувати з'їбати. Вони перебігають сюди туди по одному.
The damage is confirmed at Russia's 51st Grau arsenal. New 3-meter imagery from April 24th reveals extensive impact. Quick analysis shows multiple structures are hit. The depot is gone. Ukrainian Special Operation Forces destroyed 25 North Korean soldiers in close combat on Russian soil, Kursk region. Ukraine's 6th SOF Regiment launched a daring raid deep behind enemy lines. In a lightning assault, they claimed to have wiped out an entire DPRK unit. Ukrainian special forces have carried out a high-risk operation inside Russia's Kursk region, reportedly eliminating a 25-man North Korean unit operating alongside Russian troops. The assault, conducted by Ukraine's elite 6th Special Operations Forces Regiment, marks one of the most audacious cross-border raids since the war began, and underscores Kyiv's strategic pivot toward deep penetration operations and asymmetric warfare. According to Ukrainian military sources, the raid was executed during nighttime hours and relied on coordinated drone surveillance, electronic warfare support, and close-quarters combat training. The North Korean soldiers were reportedly stationed at a temporary outpost used to support Russian logistics and reconnaissance near the border zone. Ukrainian commandos infiltrated the area undetected, launching a swift, lethal assault that left no survivors from the DPRK contingent. This engagement comes amid a broader shift in Ukraine's military posture along the northeastern frontier. While Ukrainian forces recently pulled out of Sudzha, they remain active throughout the wider Kursk region, now favoring highly mobile surgical strikes over static defensive lines. The change in tactics reflects both strategic necessity and battlefield adaptation. With traditional fronts stabilizing and resources stretched, Ukraine is increasingly leaning on special operations forces, long-range artillery, and drone warfare to maintain pressure on Russian border areas. The presence of North Korean troops on Russian soil, once considered improbable, is no longer just a geopolitical talking point. Their direct involvement and the casualties they've suffered is a testament to the deepening military cooperation between Moscow and Pyongyang. For Ukraine, it's not just Russian soldiers they're facing anymore, but a growing patchwork of foreign partners willing to commit forces to the Kremlin's war effort. Still, this cooperation comes with risk. For Russia, integrating foreign units, particularly those with limited language interoperability and unfamiliar terrain, can create vulnerabilities. Ukrainians are scamming millions of rubles a day from Russians and directing the proceeds to fund the Ukrainian armed forces, according to Russian investigators. They accuse the Security Service of Ukraine, SBU, of being behind the scam operations. Russian journalist and war blogger Anastasia Kashevarova has posted on her Telegram channel the results of an investigation by SNOS Call Center, a group which is dedicated to countering Ukrainian scam operations against Russian citizens. The scams are said to be organized like regular businesses, complete with offices, employees, HR managers, and corporate policies. Kashevarova cites the example of a concern called Strong Call, which operates in Kyiv and several other Ukrainian cities. According to Kashevarova, employees' salaries depend on how much they manage to scam from Russians and can reach up to 10,000 hryvnia daily, 239 daily, about half the average monthly salary in Ukraine. Bonuses are paid for the biggest scams. In one notable case of landing a whale, a former Moscow city prosecutor was reportedly scammed out of 20 million rubles, $240,000, by a 15-year-old boy from Zhytomyr. Kashevarova notes that Ukrainians' familiarity with the Russian language, a legacy of 300 years of Russian occupation, is a great advantage for the scammers. Often, victims of fraudsters tell our law enforcement officers that they did not suspect anything was wrong because the caller spoke without a Ukrainian accent and was extremely convincing. Here again, unfortunately, the established stereotype of call centers as some kind of fly-by-night operations comes into play. The same strong call regularly holds training sessions with employees. Experts, psychologists, and speech therapists teach them to speak with a Russian accent and persuade people from a distance. According to Kashevarova, Proceeds from the scams are sent weekly to support the Ukrainian armed forces. In one notable instance, the prominent Two Majors Telegram channel was scammed out of $18,000, which went to the Ukrainian army instead. She says that the scams are part of a wider criminal syndicate organized under the control of the SBU, and writes, "An official CRM system for fraud has been created and implemented in Ukraine. This is a special program in the system of which Ukrainian cyber terrorists receive all the data on the victim, create false documents, know how to behave and what to say so that the victim does not get off the hook. All scripts for communicating with victims are written down to the smallest detail. By the way, fake subpoenas and other documents on the topic of the SBU are created in these same systems in order to destabilize the situation in the Russian Federation." Kashevarova likely refers here to incidents where Ukrainian scammers have contacted Russians while pretending to be members of the Russian security forces and convinced them to carry out arson attacks for the sake of testing security. The scripts are constantly changing. Call center employees constantly monitor the Russian information space. As soon as they see that one of their work schemes has been declassified, they change the scenario. The most popular and advanced CRM system is called Monstrous. It was created by 2 Ukrainian citizens and an Indian citizen. They lease their development to call centers. In the video, you can see the employee's personal account in this system, as well as the opportunities it offers to the user. It keeps track of work calls, and a personal account is created for each client. That is, a victim. You can create a fake ID of an employee of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, for persuasiveness, a personal account with mobile operators, a check from any Russian bank right in the system. Everything looks very credible. Everything is fully automated. Very, as they say, user-friendly. You don't have to think at all. The Chimera bot is attached to this system, which can automatically check almost any person living in the territory of the Russian Federation. Also, CRM systems are linked to the Karma bot. It is free for them and has the widest range of services. This is not just a punch by phone number. In fact, it is a search engine for Russians, through which you can get a huge layer of information. Plus, it is possible to search by criteria. Roughly speaking, you can find all men of a certain age with a certain name living in a certain locality, or find everyone who was born on Friday the 13th. Having such detailed information on the victim, Ukrainian cyber fraudsters easily gain trust, pretending to be law enforcement officers who have access to government databases. Although Kashevarova doesn't mention it, it's very likely that Ukrainian scammers are benefiting from the massive leaks of personal data that have happened in Russia in recent years, either as a result of hacking or of corrupt insiders selling databases. Kashevarova claims that a key figure in the Ukrainian cyberscam operations is Vladislav Horohorin, a Ukrainian from Donetsk who was imprisoned for cybercrimes in the US before being deported to Russia in February 2017. However, Kashevarova writes, he fell out with the Russian authorities over a Tesla car. When he returned to Moscow in 2017, it turned out that his car, a rare Tesla, had been stolen. Law enforcement officers were unable to return it to its owner, so Horohorin took offense at Russia and became a traitor to the motherland, starting to work for the enemy. Now he cooperates with the SBU and is hidden in Kyiv. In Russia, he is wanted under several counts. He also created the Gorgon stressor for performing DDoS attacks against Russian internet resources. Previously, it was available for download in the public domain, but after the download sources attracted attention and began to be taken down, they were moved to Tor.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.